Greetings and welcome to Connecting with Intent Show. I'm your host Muhammad Awais. On this episode, we have a very special guest. He is Senior Technology and Operations Consultant at Vectoral Data, Francisco Barillas. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Francisco Barillas. Francisco, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, today I'm in Puerto Rico, a beautiful island in the Caribbean. I am surrounded by my family right now because I'm working from home. I'm working on a couple of very exciting projects that have to do more with education, less with data analytics, which is also part of my mission in life is to promote knowledge in engineering, mathematics, and science in the youth. It's been a fantastic day. It's a beautiful day in Puerto Rico.
What is your higher purpose in life?
Yeah, when I read that question, it struck me that we tend to think of a higher purpose as something very lofty. But to be honest with you, after many decades in both corporate and in private, being a business owner, just contributing to the life of others seems to be the thing that fills me the most with happiness and with a sense of purpose. I build companies. I've done many business deals of significant value. But even though I felt very compensated and very happy of achieving those things, nothing really replaces uh, what you're doing, which is sharing knowledge with somebody else. Because I believe that that is actually how we become immortal. I believe that when you change somebody's life, when you share some knowledge that they use in their lives or even in their businesses, a little piece of you goes with that message, and that's how you become immortal. Um, and that's basically my purpose in life. Pretty much, what fills me with the greatest sense of accomplishments is that teaching, sharing knowledge freely without any reservations.
And that's a powerful purpose. What have been top three greatest challenges that you have had to overcome?
Well, as an immigrant to the United States, one of the biggest challenges was to learn English. When I came to the United States, I didn't know English, even though I was well educated in mathematics and even engineering. I had to learn English, and it was one of the fears, right, that I wasn't going to be able to learn in time to enter a good university or have a good career. But all those fears, the way to deal with fear is to actually acknowledge you have the fear and do something about it. So that was one of my biggest challenges early on when I was 15 years old. Later on, then, is every day. Every day you have a new challenge. Every day there's a new problem. So I cannot really tell you there are significant ones because each one of them matter a little bit. Um, that's it. That's my philosophy.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Could you repeat that? Repeat that, please.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Well, you know what? Every aspect of my life. So I've been alive, more a lot longer than you, and probably your audience. So every decade of my life, every piece of my life has shown me different things. I when I do presentations to kids at the university level, at the high school level, or even professionals, I have a chart. It shows how much I learned in each one of my decades, starting from year 10, the 20s, the 30s, to the 40s, and now in my 50s. And I'm very proud to say that the amount of things that I learn every decade keeps increasing. And the traditional belief is that as you age, you learn less and you're less capable of learning. And that is not true at all. Besides being an engineer, I'm a fanatic of neuroscience. I study the brain. I study the way we learn. I study the way we process feelings. I learn the way we memorize things. So we learn quite a bit about our brain and the way we process the world inputs every day. So every day for me is a new discovery.
What is the most impactful book you have read, and what did you learn from it?
We have this debate with many people. My library has over, I don't know, more than 1,000, 2,000 books. And I'm very happy that I've read them all. It's sad that nowadays we don't tend to read. Um, there are no impactful books. See, the most impactful book is the one you're about to read. Because if you're like me, you're always looking for a new answer. You're always looking to improve yourself. So sometimes that knowledge is outside of you. Many times the solution to your problem or to your challenge is not within you, it's outside. So the most impactful book I would like to think is still something I have not read. There have been many, many books that have been important to me, but they were very important in that moment. And from those words, I learned some things. But those things serve as a foundation for something else that I need to learn more later on that I even know I needed to learn. So in my opinion, there are no impactful books. Every book, in fact, every conversation you have with someone could be the most impactful conversation you have in your life. I believe that there's always something coming down the pipe. There's always something in the future that is going to help you deal with problems today. So I'm always open to discovery. I'm always trying to read new things because the danger of thinking that I read the most important book already is that you stop seeking, you stop learning, you stop looking for new answers. And that is never the case. It has never been the case um, throughout history.
What are your goals for the next 12 months?
Well, for the next 12 months, I'm pivoting my company. I switched from a business owner dealing with food to a business consultant dealing in data analytics and teaching people how to make decisions based on data, big data, and all that, right? Um, but I'm discovering more that I get a lot more teaching people how to think, helping them understand the world. I think in the last, I would say, 30 years, we have lost the ability to compute mentally. We lost two things with technology, unfortunately. We lost the ability to learn and memorize and compute things in our head. Now, with the advent of artificial intelligence and the improper use of technology, we're going to begin to lose the ability to think, to to actually take problems and break them down and understand why they're happening and what I call the root cause of problems. Because we're going to be relying more and more and more on artificial intelligence machines. And I actually do not like to use the word artificial intelligence. These are just tools. This is just code that is making life easier for some activities. But I hate to see that widely implemented in education, for example. So for the next 12 months, I'm going to go back to the fundamentals. I'm going to teach people how to think because we're in danger of losing that even more.
What advice you will give to younger yourself?
There's it's good to be to have a retrospective view of your life. It's good. It's good to analyze. And I have one quote that says, "I give thanks to God every day that I believe I'm still work in progress." So I'm not done. I'm not done growing. I'm not done learning. I'm not done teaching. I'm not done being a student. So that keeps me both highly educated, highly informed because I'm paranoid that I don't know enough. So I'm reading a lot more. learning more. But at the same time, it keeps me humble because the more and more I learn, the more I figure out that I don't know a lot. And that's the key to being what people call uh, a smart person, an educated person. You're always paranoid that you don't know enough, so you keep on learning. Um, so for the next 12 months, is just continue what I've been doing and what I've been tell what I've said to my younger self is do what you did. There was nothing wrong with what we did. That's our life. It's good to reflect on our life, but it's what you do today and what you're going to do tomorrow that's more important than what you did yesterday. That's history.
How
That's
can
past. It's done.
how can we support you?
How can you support me?
Yeah.
Well, what you're doing right now is part of the support. I think I'm fascinated by the potential that this podcast has. I'm actually talking to someone on the other side of the world, someone that for some reason connected with me, and and these words are gonna maybe resonate with some of your audience that I might never had the chance to impact. I welcome any feedback. Um, like I said, part of my mission is to share knowledge, and we all needed that. I needed that. I had several mentors throughout my life, and I was smart enough to listen to my mentors and listen to good advice. And later on, I learned that some advice um, was very critical for me to listen. One of the things that I tell all the time is that when I graduated from university, I had a very strict professor that helped me. I wasn't doing that well. I was not an A student. I was distracted in some cases, and I was doing all right. And this professor was really mad at me. One time, told me that I was just taking up space. If I didn't apply my intellect, he knew that. He told me, "I know you can do more. Why aren't you doing more? Why are you not participating more in your classes and really thinking about being an engineer?" And he was a very pivotal. Um, it was a very pivotal moment in my time. I am glad that I listened to that message instead of just dismissing it. I took it very personally. It hurt. I was only 19 years old, and I respected this professor a lot. And he told me when I graduated, he told me that the diploma that had taken me such a long time to get was obsolete. And when I say this story, a lot of my friends said, "Well, that's a mean thing to say." And he said, "No, no, no. That is actually the best advice that I gotten at that moment because I had completed an engineering degree from one of the best universities in the United States. And one of my professors told me that that piece of paper was obsolete the moment they gave it to me. So it was up to me to make it mean something. What the university was about was learning about learning, learning to learn, love to learn. It wasn't a finality, it was literally a new beginning. So, yes, they taught me a lot of things that, of course, I use in my profession, but it was just a foundation. So, that was great for me. I mean, that's one of the best things that someone did for me. It sounded mean, maybe it sounds a little harsh, but for me, it made a big difference. Better.
What closing thoughts would you like to share with our listeners?
My advice I give all my students is never stop learning. To become a better teacher, you better become a better learner. Not everything you memorize is worth remembering, and the creation of a I want to say how you build yourself every day doesn't come from small challenges or gentle edifications. It doesn't come from not pushing yourself beyond a comfort zone. How you grow to excellence is by pushing yourself, but in able to push yourself, you better be prepared for that. So it means you have to learn something new every day about yourself, about the world, and about what you're about.
Thank you so much, Francisco, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of connecting with the intent community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad West. Until the next episode, all good wishes.